G'day, Ben from Melbourne here. We're going to enter a contest today for Jack, his channel Vinyl Martini. He's celebrating, I think, 3 years in the VC, and he's decided to do a comp, which is show me some comps, as in compilations. So yeah, let's get onto that. Very easy. I don't think there's a number of comps you have to show. All you got to do is a shout out to another VC channel that you love. I was lucky enough to meet Jack earlier this year when I went to Vancouver, which was fantastic. Always a cool thing to actually meet people on the VC in real life. A little bit harder for me to meet all of you Northerners, as we call you down here in Australia, because it's such a big journey to get across there. So I was very lucky this year to meet a few people in Canada, as well as when I went to New York as well, which is great. So I will leave Jack's video link down below so you can check him out. If you haven't done already, subscribe to the great man. And the first thing I'll get out of the way is I will do my shout out. So I'm going to shout out to Sean at the Vinyl Dreamscape. Love his channel. I'll leave a link down there for him as well. Really interesting. He's like very much left of the dial with a lot of his tastes in things. I learn a lot. He does a lot of deep dives into things which are really interesting. You know, he might talk about experimental music 1 minute, then the next he's talking about punk rock, things like that, and delves into unexpected corners. Like he did one on Iggy Pop's early 80s records. I think it was from about New Values onwards, kind of like a reassessment. So that was really interesting take as well. So check out Sean, great channel, cool guy, always comes at it from a different angle. So let's show some compilations now. Of course, these are all going to be Australian because that's my jam. Going to start off with some 60s garage rock with a brilliant series called Ugly Things, which come out on Raven. Now there's a number of these. Like these have got legendary garage rock bands from Australia. Missing Links, Black Diamonds. There's even Easybeats on here, but they don't go for the obvious tracks like Friday on My Mind. What else we got here? The Creatures, the Atlantics, more known as a surf band, but their track Come On is an absolute ripper. Shed Burner, as we like to call. Has a few in this series, so there's Volume 2, great cover artwork too. So this one, what have we got? Derek's Accent, that's a cracker. The Lardy Dars, they also put a bit of New Zealand stuff on these as well, but Australia's never been too shy about claiming our neighbours as our own as well, and I'm going to chuck a few New Zealand comps on the end of this as well. What else we got? The Purple Hearts, just a little bit, one of my favourite 60s songs. Fantastic stuff. Tony Worsley, I believe that's a David Freeman favourite if I'm correct. Ugly Things, Volume 3. Loved Ones, The Pleasers, The Twilights, The Throb, Chance R&B, another great New Zealand band. Just killer stuff. And then the fourth one, which I only recently got, also on Raven. This one is a little bit different with the other ones, like real garagey stuff. And this is divided into the psychedelic, just making up shit now, Australasia 60s psychedelia instead of garage rock. And so it's divided up. Side one's called Psych Rock and side two's called Flower Pop. So on side one, you've got things like the Easybeats with Peculiar Hole in the Sky, chrome-plated Yabby with the Wild Cherries, Lobby Lloyd, legend. On side two, Flower Pop, you got the Great Masters Apprentices, Living in a Child's Dream, Twilight's Time and Motion Study Man, The Love Machine, The Lonely Hearts Club Christmas Party. Wonder where they got that idea from. Great series. yeah, if you want to learn anything about Australian 60s garage rock and you love those, what are they called? Back to the Grave and Pebbles and things like that, the more raw stuff, get into those. Now, some more Raven stuff. Pretty much anything you see with Raven on the label, get it. They're a really good reissue label in the 80s. This one's a compilation of 3 EPs from The Throb, The Wild Cherries, Missing Links, and The Purple Hearts. Can't go wrong with that. Now, it's a Cave-In, more garage rock. This is more obscure 60s garage stuff than what you'll find on your Ugly Things. So, yeah, like the Templars, Peter and the Silhouettes, the Leprechauns, the Frantics. I think Chance R&B are probably the most famous, when I say famous, band on here. Great cover, hey, and that pretty much sums up the sounds within. A change of pace now with Mikey Young, the great Mikey Young, the man whose name appears on 1 million records. He's put together a couple of great compilations, or 3 now actually. This one's called Follow the Sun. Great cover artwork again. So this compiles 20 cuts from Dusty Bins. Where are we going? Surveying the sought-after sound of Australia's lesser and greater known moments of 70s rock, folk, and their in-between offspring. Follow the Sun filters the sublime and sometimes subversive psychedelic airways transmitted around the world. Collectors and casual listeners will rejoice over this trove of Aussie ear pleasure and treasures. Really cool stuff. I had heard of none of these bands, but because Mikey Young was involved, I just bought it. It's great. And then he did another follow-up on called Sad About These Times, which is, as it says on the blurb, about singer-songwriters with a tear in their eye and a feather in their hat. Getting in touch with their inner self a little bit there. And he's done a follow-up of this called It's Still Sad, I think it's called. Fantastic, just early 70s. More mellow stuff, but let's get back to the nuggets. We even got our own, let's get back to the nuggets, by showing you Down Under Nuggets. Yes, we got our own in the Nugget series, the famous one, which, had 13th floor elevators and The Leaves and Peanut Butter Conspiracy, a bazillion others, which I, of course, when I go to say it, my head goes blank. But anyway, we got our own. There's probably a little bit of crossover on this with the ones I've shown you earlier, but still fantastic. Missing Links, Purple Hearts, Masters Apprentices, Black Diamonds, Bee Gees get a run on here, not the disco Bee Gees. Stephen the Board, Bobby and Laurie, Loved Ones, fantastic stuff. Of course, Easy Beats with Sorry, what a cracking song. Great, the thing that's tying all these together is great artwork. Now another series called Before, cannot talk today, Before, I said it again, Before Birdmen Flew, Volume 1. So in the Birdmen this refers to is Radio Birdman, of course. So this is 60s garage rock, similar vein to Ugly Things. And yeah, probably a lot of these bands are a big influence on a lot of, not just Radio Birdman, but yeah, bands like The Saints and all of those great raw garage punk bands that would follow. So yeah, this has got more Black Diamonds, Purple Hearts, Sunsets, Lady Does, New Zealand stuff, Stephen the Board. So again, there's another, I think there's 4 of these as well. Just great stuff there. Should have just read that. Australian beat, R&B, and punk, 65 to 67. Calling it punk. Even then, back when these were released, which I think was in the 80s, if I'm right. Great stuff. And here's number 4. Now, something more in line in the vein of the its sad series of Mikey Young early 70s comps, but modern stuff on the Flightless Records label with a comp called Love Hurts. And yeah, this has got some great people on here. Leah Senior, Ambrose Kenny Smith, of course, from King Giz, Civic, Punk Champs. They've actually even got Tim Presley on this, who's not Australian. He's from White Fence. Great band, though. Really cool comp, fun stuff. Speaking of punk, New Center of the Universe Volume 3. I believe this is the only one that come out on vinyl. The other two are on CD, and this is a celebration of each year. Compiled by Anti-Fade Records 2017 to 2018. So they compile different eras of the great Anti-Fade label. What do you know? It's mastered by Mikey Young. So you're going to find on this one bands like Parsnip, Alien Nose Job, The Stroppies, Traffic Island, The Shifters, School Damage, Gonzo, Vintage Crop, all great stuff. Now let's jump the ditch and go to New Zealand with the awesome 60s comp. This is like their ugly things called Wild Things. This is a killer comp. Really raw bands like the Blue Stars, Laddie Dars, of course, the Pleasers, Tom Thumb, Chance R&B, Troubled Mind. This is really good shit. I think it's on Real Groovy Records. More New Zealand, the reissue of the great AK-79 comp, which is all the punk scene going on in New Zealand in that year. So this has got, what have we got in here? The Scavengers, Swingers, Toy Love, which was Chris Knox's band, Suburban Reptiles, Features, Spelling Mistakes, Marching Girls, all great bands who actually have had some reissues of their work as well. AK-79, a great document of New Zealand punk. And last in the vinyl section, the legendary Dunedin double EP comp featuring early stuff by The Chills. I think it's the Sneaky Feelings, yep. The Verlaines and the cheekily named The Stones. Real quick, few CD comps. I've taken the, as they call them in the business, the slicks out for your viewing pleasure. A Raven comp called 60s Down Under. So this has got a bit more of the pop thing with early Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs, Normie Rowe, Ray Brown, Tony Worsley, Pink Finks, Easy Beats, Twilights, all that kind of gear. Get on board. Inner City Sound, Australian punk and post-punk on there. Sacred Cowboys, Wet Taxis, Razor, Boys Next Door, all that kind of malarkey. Do the Pop, great Australian garage rock. It's from 75 to 87, this one. So you got Birdman, Saints, Psychosurgeons, Lipstick Killers, all that kind of gear. Tales from the Australian Underground, 78 to 89. And so this is mining similar territory to Do the Pop, but it also has a bit more of the art punk sound. And there's also a volume 2 of that one as well. All right, that's 13 minutes. It's already gone longer than I planned. So let's wrap it up. Subscribe to Sean from Vinyl Dreamscape. Check him out. Also, enter in Jack's competition to celebrate his milestone and subscribe to him if you haven't done already. The man's a legend. And see you in the next one.